We're on. Coming up on UPH, Chicks, man.
Best date ever.
A steaming pile of games.
All girls allowed.
And more on this episode of Unbelievable Power Hour.
Oh, man. There's no way we're getting across there. What you got there? What? Yeah, good luck, Belle. I mean, that's almost impossible to... Oh, you did it.
Hello and welcome to episode 26 of Unbelievable Power Hour, your mind-blowing source for video game news, previews, and adventure. I'm Dan DeHaan, and with me today is my gaming cousin, Aaron Wiesinger.
What's up, cuz?
Happy 4th of July Independence Day, Aaron.
Yeah. Happy Independence Day, Dan.
What are you doing to celebrate your independence in South Korea?
It's very easy to forget about it here because I'm in South Korea. So the days leading up to it, you don't see a bunch of fireworks and flags everywhere and all that kind of stuff. But I worked.
I know it's probably
celebration
blasphemy to say, but as far as holidays go, I don't care about the 4th of July.
No, it's not high up on your list.
My independence aside, all right? But as far as just a holiday, it's like I don't like fireworks.
You don't?
Oh, look at those explosions! No,
I can
I don't like
appreciate
fireworks.
a firework. Me and my other friend Dan used to manufacture our own, if you know what I mean.
No, I don't.
We would get the fireworks that are
Does that mean you guys made out?
No.
Oh.
It means we would go across the border to Ohio, get fireworks, open them, and then pour the contents into a larger thing. And then explode those.
That sounds really dangerous.
It was just those like little like mini cracker
Snakes.
things.
Little
Yeah.
ash snake.
Those things are
We put a bunch of those in a container.
It was crazy.
I used to take my nephews down to the border. This is before Michigan. You can buy the big stuff now.
You can.
So you can buy the good fireworks now. Yep.
Wow.
But before then, we'd have to travel across the border. So I'd go to the state line fireworks in Indiana. And
Yeah.
We're actually confessing to a crime right now. You do you do realize that, right?
Somebody,
And
one of
take them
my
down
good
there and
friends
do that.
did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did. I did put the fireworks in between the loins of G.I. Joes.
Yeah. I could never quite master the right trajectory for like setting up rocket packs for G.I. Joes because they'd always just like flip over and then destroy the G.I. Joe. They never got to fly.
Cherry bombs, would be one thing, and then because they had that rubber band waist,
Right.
so you stretch that rubber band, stick a firework right in there, and make them explode.
Better days.
The only thing I do like about the 4th of July, and I'm totally comparing it to like what appeals to me on a holiday level. Halloween, you get to dress up. Christmas, you get to open presents. You get to be thankful on Thanksgiving.
Lame.
No, the meal Thanksgiving is the appeal.
Sure.
I would say with the 4th of July, it's barbecuing. I do like some wieners. And I like hot dogs.
Okay.
That was an accident. That was a genuine accident. Hamburgers, I meant to say. Freudian slip. So yeah.
But you also
Steve's-
didn't have to work today.
Right. That is
So you
also
get
nice.
that.
Yeah. Yep. Steam sales wrapped up this week,
Mhm.
or Monday. It was Monday.
Yep.
So how'd you do? How'd you come out?
I felt kind of bad, and mostly because I passed up what I felt the best deal of the show was, which was Wolfenstein for 50% off.
Oh, you missed it, huh?
Yeah, I should have grabbed it.
Why didn't you?
I was just back and forth because I already bought games, and I was like, I've already got
Yeah.
these I need to play, and I got Dishonored, and I was like, I'm gonna do the same thing I did
Oh,
with
come on. Dishonored was like
JRPGs.
$5, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was cheap. I'm not saying for price. I'm talking about for genre reasons.
All right.
Because like I overdid it on JRPDs. I don't know what that is. JRPGs, and I didn't want to get a ton of first-person shooters and then like not want to play it. So,
You're someone who struggles a little bit with having a back catalog, right? It
yeah,
causes you a little anxiety when you
I
got.
don't like to have it there. Makes me
Yeah.
feel bad.
Yeah, you get over it eventually. Once there's like 50 games in the queue that you haven't played that you own,
Yeah.
you don't even think about it.
What was your best grab?
I was just looking at some of my grabs. I don't know. The one that I played the most, I would
Mhm.
say, is of course Age of Wonders 3.
Mm-hmm.
The one that I was eyeballing the most, I would say, that I'm like, I know it's going to go on sale. I know it's going to go on sale. Baldur's Gate 1 and 2.
You did get it.
Yes.
Awesome.
I think my best grab, though, was not in the Steam sale. It was on another site.
Mm-hmm.
All 3 Mass Effect games, $10.
Oh, that is crazy good.
That's crazy good, isn't it?
Yeah, that's real stupid good, I would
Yeah.
say.
Some other
Played
games.
any of the Mass Effect before?
Yes, I've played Mass Effect 1. You know what? It's a game, though. I've only played like 15 minutes. Every time I start the game, I play 15 minutes, and then I stop. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is, because it appeals to me on every level.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it down to the soundtrack. Everything
Yeah.
about it appeals to me. It's got that Blade Runner synth soundtrack that I absolutely adore.
Yeah. Great soundtrack.
Sci-fi, love it.
Mm-hmm.
Love the third-person perspective. Love the RPG-ness of it.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, it's just hard for me to penetrate. That's what she said. What?
It sounds like the way the movie Dune was for me, the original Dune.
I gotcha. Yeah.
Like I think I watched it 4 or 5 times, and every time within the first half hour I fell asleep. There's no reason why. I just did. I think I was just
I think it's the internal
poorly-
dialogue whispers that are throughout. Gurney.
Yeah. It's a little slow start. But I was also tired every time, and I finally watched it, and it's great.
The spice.
Must flow.
I love the original Dune, and that's like one of my sick movies. Like if I'm homesick, I can watch the original Dune.
Mm-hmm.
I hated the sci-fi.
Yeah, that one's
remake.
bad.
Yeah, it was terrible. Dune needs to be remade, though. I think that is one movie that needs a
What's up,
a
J.J.
remake
Abrams?
Yeah, come on, what you gonna do? Put some lens flares in there too, you know. So another thing this week that I wanted to mention before we keep moving on is we've started rewatching The Office,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm watching with great interest. I want to know, when did the decline of The Office begin? I'm trying to pinpoint it. What is your guess?
I kind of feel like once the Jim Pam love story resolved itself, like when they got together.
I would
Like,
disagree. I think it is the point they got married. So a little bit further down. I could handle some of the Jim and Pam together stuff,
Sure.
but the point they got married is when it jumped the shark.
Yeah. There was none of that like romantic tension at all. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, not that the show was just a romance, but like that was a big focus of the show for a long time.
I
Or at
mean,
least a big part of it.
I guess I would say that yeah, you're right. The decline started, but it had the biggest drop, I think, once they got married. For some reason,
Yeah.
stuff started feeling a little forced, and you couldn't. Shows like that sometimes lose their sense of what makes them appealing to people. And it's that mundane thing of working in the office. Like they had kind of an office space thing going on at times that they needed to maintain. That
Yeah.
oh yeah, I go through that in my work setting. And
Yeah.
at the point where they started playing like murder mystery reenactment games in the office and stuff like that, it's like I can't relate to any of that.
Yeah, that doesn't happen.
So that same kind of thing went on with one season of Workaholics. Workaholics season 3, like forgot why, what made Workaholics relatable.
Yeah.
And no, thankfully season 4 has been pretty funny though. So
Okay, good. Because 1 and 2 were both 1 and 2 really amazing because
yes,
I
1
know
and
at
2
least
are
the first
amazing.
one was.
And then season 3 was just like, I had a couple of good episodes, and then season 4 I just started watching, and so far so good.
Yeah. Cool.
So how's your week going?
Good. I've got 2 weeks until I'm back in the good old U.S. of A.
For any of our new listeners, it must be repeated that Aaron lives in South Korea.
I do indeed. So I'll be celebrating ID4 2 weeks late. So I'm stoked. I'm gonna be coming back, be there for about 2 weeks, hang out, get my USA on.
Hang out with your wang out,
Oh yeah.
as they say.
I'm gonna meet up with you, be heavily jet lagged the next day, and have some good times.
We've got some fun plans ready to go.
That'll be super cool.
All right,
So,
I want to hear about Game of Thrones.
All right, Game of Thrones. I have successfully gotten through. I had already watched seasons 1 and 2 and part of 3, but I finished all of 3. So I'm not sure. Like, what season is it on? Like on the air up till at this point?
Season 4 just ended.
Okay.
You watched The Red Wedding, right?
Maybe I mean, is that the ender to season 3, or like one of the last 2 episodes
Yes.
where
The wedding happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was brutal.
Yeah, that was nuts. Yeah. And I've read the 3rd book. I just didn't remember that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm always curious to hear the differences between Game of Thrones the book and Game of Thrones the show.
Yeah. Like it was quite a while ago that I read the books, so I kind of have a vague recollection of what happens. So now I'm at the point where I'm debating whether or not, because I'm one of those guys where I like to read the book before I watch the show or the movie.
Yeah.
And so
then you can judge it.
Yeah. So I can be
Well,
judgmental.
that's nothing like the book.
So I'm trying to decide if I want to read the book first or just say screw it and watch season 4. So we'll see.
Yeah, season 4 was good. I liked it.
Cool. So that
finally, what else you got on your plate?
Start a new 3D project. Got about 2 weeks left on that. No, not even 2 weeks. 9 days.
And this is another competition?
Yeah, another competition. Same basic stakes for it. Just doing it for funsies and all the fame and glory, of course.
Nice.
You know.
Nice. You have another fresh idea?
I don't know how fresh it is. This one I think is a little less interesting. It's the focus is realism.
Oh.
So there's not as much story behind it. It's just how technically good can you make this look.
Cool.
So, I think it's cool, but it's just not as story driven. That's
All
about it.
right, everybody, we're going to move on to our weekly playlist. This is where we talk about the games that we played this week. So, I've had quite a gaming fun week.
Mm-hmm.
I tried something out new, Marvel Heroes 2015. I've been interested in playing this game,
Yeah.
and it's
What's that?
recently gone through some updates, and I dig it. Marvel Heroes 2015, worth a look.
Tell me
Free
about
to
it.
play. It's a lot like Diablo. If I
Okay.
had to compare it to something, I'd compare it to Diablo 3.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like, too, it's actually been made by some of the people that developed or were in development of the Diablo 3 before Diablo 3 became what it is today.
Okay.
Some
So
people
it's a
might
loot grab.
loot grab, level up, crawler kind of thing, but
Mhm.
with superheroes
Nice.
and free to play.
Now, does that sort of drag it down a bit with the freemium?
I
Anything going
have
on?
not noticed anything yet. I played about an hour so far.
Mhm.
I started with Hawkeye,
Mm-hmm.
and it sounds like the big things that that you can buy are characters,
Mm-hmm.
costumes,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So, sounds like you can play the game, not really have to spend any money, and really get get some fun out of it.
Cool. Is it like a lot of Iron Man running around together, or is it
You will see clones of yourself running around.
Okay.
Unless you pick some really obscure character that nobody likes.
Okay, I see a picture here of Cool.
I definitely would. I would love to have you try it out and see what you think.
Yeah. Is that something that we could play together, like on the same server or something?
I don't know. I don't know if we could join up. That might be something we should try. I bet you could.
Sweet.
I'm
Yeah,
kind
I'll
of
have
just
to
like
check that
into
out.
the superheroes thing for some reason, and I've realized I grew up liking Marvel superheroes.
Mhm.
I was a Spider-Man reader. I
Mhm.
read every Amazing Spider-Man, Web of Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, Just Spider-Man when Todd McFarlane started that series.
Mhm.
And I hate reading superhero comics now. For some reason, I just do not like it. It feels like a man soap opera to me. Same characters, same kind of drama, all the same kind of stuff happens. They just, mix it up a little, and
Yeah.
that. And I also don't like where a lot of the art style has gone, because that was my main appeal. For the most part, was like I loved the artists. Todd McFarlane is what pulled me into comics.
Me too. Me
It
too.
was like I think it was the Amazing Spider-Man number 312 was my first comic,
Mhm.
and that pulled me in. I was like, what is this amazing art style?
Yeah.
It's so much better than Stan Lee's drawings.
That was crazy, wasn't it? I mean, it was like at a time. That's why I got into Spawn for a long time. That was like McFarlane, I believe, was the only or one of very few who drew in like a very different style from the rest.
Yeah.
Very like gross and up close feel to everything.
And everyone was contorted in ways that there was no way they could bend. Like
Yeah.
Spider-Man, his right foot would be up next to his face while he's swinging from city to city.
Yeah.
And I would just try and copy his art style all the time, and that was it. I would just redraw my comics, and
Mhm.
Eventually more and more copycats came out.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say the guy that kind of took over after on The Amazing Spider-Man was Eric Larson, and he was like a crappy version of Todd McFarlane. There were like inspiration there, but and then somebody that came up and is amazing, and I think has surpassed Todd McFarlane as an artist is Greg Capullo.
I'm not familiar.
He's unbelievable. Right now, he's been drawing one of the Batman comics, and Batman's probably the only DC comic I would read. And actually, it's probably the only superhero comic I'd read right now, between the Marvel DC universe.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, what I was saying is I don't like where the art style is now, where it's just really like this over-digitized look, where it's like there's like blooming and they're using Photoshop. You can tell that they are.
Right.
And people look weird, and I don't like it. Not that every artist is like that, but like some of the main Spider-Man comics are like that. They're, and I just don't like it.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing to me is in comics, it's the art style. I really have trouble. If it's bad art that I don't like, I have trouble reading it, even if it's a great story.
Yeah.
So I'm drawing a blank. Back to Marvel Heroes.
Yeah.
I like that. I've enjoyed what little time I put into it, and I'll probably keep playing it. I want to see how much like Diablo it is, and just see where it goes. Cool. And see how much I can play without spending any money.
Yeah, I should try that out too.
Next game I played this week, I get to add another game to the list that I beat.
That's a long list, my friend.
This week, I beat Metal Gear Ground Zeroes. All right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not that excited to tell you that.
Why?
Because it only took 2 hours.
Yeah.
I
heard
spent
it was a short one.
$30 on this game.
Yeah. Somebody was calling it more of a prologue than an actual game.
Well, you know what? I played prologues before that I've been able to get more time out of.
Yeah.
This was basically a demo.
Yikes.
It was fun. I'll give you that.
Yeah. But don't you feel taken advantage of?
Yes, I do.
I mean, Metal Gear is such a big name, you kind of expect, like, this is going to have some quality.
I feel like Konami slipped their hand into my pocket and stole money right out of my pants.
Yeah.
I had a good time with it, though. I mean, it's really... I realized I love stealth.
Mm-hmm.
I'm terrible at stealth. But I do love stealth.
Yeah.
So, and then one of the games that, was on the Steam sale this week was one of the Tom Clancy... what's its butt?
Splinter Cell?
Splinter Cell games. Yeah, Blacklist. Splinter Cell Blacklist. And that was when I was like, oh, do I pull the trigger on this? I don't know if I'll like it or not. And I kind of wish I did now, because I ended up playing Metal Gear, and it just never went back to like the $7 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So...
You didn't... Now, in Metal Gear, you're pretty much always encouraged to stealth. You're never, like, full-on running and gunning.
You can run and gun. At least in this, you could.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the enjoyment for me is in the full-on stealth, but there were times where I was full-on sucky, and I had to run and gun. Mm-hmm. Now, the only thing is like your suppressor on your machine gun, your suppressor has only so long that it'll work. It'll wear out.
Right.
So at that point, then you start attracting more soldiers, enemies, and everyone is like locked down on the complex trying to find you. But a lot of fun. I really like it. I suspect that I will probably get the full game. So the
Would
full
you
Metal
say
Gear game.
Okay. Like worth the $30 though?
Was Metal Gear Ground Zero worth the $30? No.
Yeah.
I would have paid $10 for it.
Yeah.
I would say the value was $10, and that was it.
Yeah.
Because it looks beautiful. I mean, it looks like it's a great game. There's extra stuff you can do in it. You can continue to get more enjoyment out of it, but just the fact that the little campaign in it is only 2 hours long is just kind of crap.
Yeah. That's dumb.
Finally this week, I'm going through my back catalog trying to. I want a huge list of games that I beat this year. I want to, go beyond the list I had last year.
It's your
And
resolution.
one game that I'm super close to beating, and have been for a long time, is Dead Space, the original.
Mm-hmm. On the PC?
No, on the PS3. You know what I thought about doing? I thought about finding a saved game so that I could switch to PC. But I feel like that's cheating. Is it cheating?
I mean, if you, yeah, it is.
Because I've gotten to that point, just on a different system.
But it's different. The mechanics are different.
Yeah, I didn't do it. I just continued on the PS3.
Yeah.
So they gave away Dead Space on Origin for free.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
I saw that it was part of a. I was thinking you were playing it from the Steam sale pack.
No.
Because they had the.
Yeah, they did have that on sale. No, I've had it on my PS3 for a long time. I don't know what it is. I have trouble with horror games, like actually playing them. I prefer to watch people play horror games than actually play them myself.
Mm-hmm.
But I do love Dead Space. I think it's a good game. It gets a little boring though. I think that's why I feel like going through the corridors and everything, I'm just kind of doing the same stuff.
Yeah.
Go into a room, something jumps out at you, shoot its limbs off, wash, rinse, repeat.
Yeah. I think that's interesting that's like one of the main new mechanics was that you don't just shoot to kill, like go for headshots. You have to dissect what you're shooting at before you can kill it.
I think it's pretty cool. I liked it.
Yeah.
And then you also have that, where you run into a limited supply of ammo.
Mm-hmm.
I think the game's fun. It's one of those games that feels a bit padded. And I don't like when people pad games.
Mm-hmm. Have you only played the first one?
Yes.
Okay.
Have you played?
I played a little bit of the first one, I think on the PS3. I never bought it. I just played it somewhere, probably at like Best Buy or something. But I was terrible at aiming, so I got really angry. And because you do have to be very specific about like shooting off the limbs first.
Yeah.
You can't just wildly spray bullets and expect to survive. I always forget, but Dead Space 2 is honestly one of my favorite games of all time.
Really?
Yeah.
What is so different between Dead Space 2 and the first Dead Space?
I don't know, like, how much or if really any of the game mechanic changed, but the way it feeds you getting new gear through it, and like I felt it wasn't I don't know, the story felt pretty tight. Like some of it gets a little too mystical for me, but I thought it was cool and it was interesting throughout, and like the gameplay itself was super fun, and you're collecting all your suits and all the different upgrades, and then once you finish the game, it encourages you, and not just like I feel like the Diablo syndrome. It's like, okay, you finished it on easy, now your reward is to go play it on the next level of difficulty.
Yeah.
But in this, it's like, I guess it's some of that, but you get to keep like your power suit, and so you're just constantly sort of going through with your character. You're not starting over just on a new difficulty level or something. But yeah, for some reason it just felt really good to me. Like that's one of my favorite games to play, and I'm not normally into that like horror genre of games.
I feel like the upgrades are pretty slow in the first one.
Yeah.
Like finding all the power nodes and going to the workbench, it feels like really slow.
Yeah.
I like in a game where if I put in the time to like go out and explore.
Mm-hmm.
If I put in the time to explore and I find all those extra power nodes and everything, I like a game where in that one playthrough I can become pretty powerful.
Yeah.
I'm not typically a person that's going to play a game more than once. There's very few. So, I want to become a god by the end of the game.
Yeah.
What about Dead Space 3? Did you play that?
I never played it.
Because I've heard that's such a big letdown from a
Yeah.
lot of sources. So
Maybe that's why I stayed away from it, because I had this really good image of Dead Space in my mind from Dead Space 2 and didn't hear the best from the third one.
I love the genre.
Yeah.
I like the whole space horror genre. Event Horizon is
Exactly.
one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
That's so creepy and great, and
You don't need eyes where we're going.
Yeah. I think Dead Space totally nails that.
Yeah.
It's creepy and it's sci-fi-y,
Mm-hmm.
all wrapped up in one.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I've been doing. You better watch out because my list on howlongtobeat.com is growing larger and larger.
Well, you have far surpassed me in terms of beaten games.
Another game that I'm 10 hours into Dead Space. I think I have like 2 hours left.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on chapter 10 and there's 12 chapters.
Mm-hmm.
Another game that I'm pretty close to beating is Tomb Raider. I'm halfway through Tomb Raider.
Nice.
That'll be done before the end of the year. So I'll add that to my list. And then I'm going to try and find like a bunch of little games. Like I know Gone Home only takes, a few hours to beat. I'll do that just to rub salt in your wounds.
So you are just playing these solely so that you can beat them, not because you enjoy them.
I hate games. I hate video games.
I got to prove to Aaron.
No, it's I want to get through it, and then I want to get working into my back catalog. That's the thing. And like, there's a little pride thing. It's pride. It's all based on spite and pride.
Good.
And spiting you.
That's what I like to hear.
So, what did you play this week?
I'm still playing Far Cry 3. Still fun. I think I've been able to better suppress my story rage.
Yeah.
And just go with it. I think the further away you get from the beginning of the game, the better it feels, because you just like I said, you forget about it.
And that's we thought the setup was cool, where you're like, you gotta save your brother.
Yeah.
But then when it became more like it had to add more gravitas
right
to the story, and it was like, you're the chosen one. And you're like,
yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. So still super fun, and you talked about driving Jeeps off of cliffs. I think that's really fun, and I think one of the really great things that they nailed is I feel like movement in that game feels really good. Like when you're running or whether you're driving, like everything feels really visceral and like you're bouncing around correctly. It doesn't feel like it's just like, that Doom sway back and forth where you have like the gun, you see the gun just like move like this, like, oh, I'm running now. But it feels nice.
Have you ever done any 2-tracking?
A long time ago.
It is really hard to focus when you're 2-tracking. Like when you are driving, your head is being jostled around, and it is hard to maintain your eyes focusing on the road when your whole body is gyrating around from all the bumps.
Yeah.
So.
And that's
that out there.
One of the better vehicles in the game. For getting around.
I think that's what they should have done. Is just like he's terrible at driving off road, and you're just looking everywhere.
Very weak neck muscles.
He's got neck muscles like a newborn. Just every once in a while, his head drops forward. That's it. It's Newborn Simulator. We're going to develop that because there's simulations for everything now.
Yeah, there pretty much is.
They're coming out with Rock Simulator and I think Grass Simulator also.
Oh,
isn't that terrible? Yeah.
Man.
We called dibs on we lick our finger and touch Newborn Simulator.
Yeah.
We've got licky dibs on Newborn Simulator.
Oh, that would be awesome.
How far into the game are you?
I don't know, maybe 5-6 hours,
Oh, wow. Cool.
maybe. Not terribly far, but I'm trying to
What
stay
about the
on track.
weapon system? Did you feel better about that?
Yeah, I mean, I sort of like being surprised. I like, oh, isn't it cool that I got this new weapon? That never really happens anymore. And I've upgraded enough so that I'm not just carrying around like the one weapon choice. Like I've skinned enough things and made my fancy weapon pouch, all that fun stuff.
That's kind of the gross part is skinning stuff.
Yeah, and then you just pull up this big meaty wad of goo
Yeah.
and like, ugh, throw it in your bag.
Hey, I've got a bag full of meaty wads of goo.
I mean, think of
What can I
going to
make
the store and just upending this bag full of just disgusting skins and leaves that you're picking.
What do you give me for this? Ploosh.
I don't know how he sifts through that 48 slot bag of gross.
And then there's you're driving by the We Buy Meaty Wads of Goo store, and there's a Meaty Wads of Goo dancer in front with a sign.
Hey! Get in the arrow.
Cash for Meaty Wads of Goo.
I do like you have to hunt sharks. I mean, I guess it's different enough from the hunting in Assassin's Creed that it doesn't feel like totally the same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun. I really do enjoy the game much more than I thought I would.
And what about Dishonored? Did you pick that up in the Steam sale?
Yeah, that was. I was looking at it. I only got 4 things during the Steam sale. 4 games.
Gross.
Yeah. But then I was just looking now, or before the show started, and there's still plenty of games that are like 50 to 75% off. So it's sort of like, I feel like you can totally just play the waiting game, and if you did miss out on something in the Steam sale, it'll come back.
Yep.
Like fairly soon.
It'll come back. Sounds like
Except for
advice
Wolfenstein.
It'll come back.
Don't worry. Yeah, I think I really screwed myself on the Wolfenstein non-purchase.
You did.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
Because we would have loved to hear about it too. I played a little bit of it. It's not my thing, but you might have liked it.
Well, I wasn't going to spend $60 on it, but 30 was looking pretty right.
Yeah. Well, are you ready for news?
Yeah, news it up.
Oh ho! Time for news, everybody.
That's saucy.
That song does get a little saucy. All right, so we're gonna go through some of the stories that going on this week. Not too much going on, but there was a big controversy this week with the ladies.
Oh, hey there.
There was a esports tournament, big tournament for Hearthstone.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, no, ladies, you can't play. You're banned.
It's like golf.
It is.
Yeah.
Golf, is it the same?
The gentlemen only, ladies forbidden.
Yeah. Well, they have a
That's
ladies'
what
tee.
golf stands for.
Ladies' tee.
Yeah. But I'm saying that's what golf stands for.
Is it? That's offensive.
That's what I heard.
So yeah, there's this whole big uproar about this Hearthstone tournament. Kind of big esports. Is it the International Esports Federation? Yes, that's them. They banned. They plan to bar women from a upcoming Hearthstone tournament in Finland, and since then they have reversed their stance. They're letting the ladies play because the internet won. The internet was like, "Hey,
internet rage."
Yeah. Hey, we won't stand for this, and they changed their stance.
Yeah.
Now the girls can play.
Which I don't even understand anyway. They said they barred women under the belief that gender segregation would add legitimacy to the idea of video games as a proper sport. They weren't segregating women, they were barring women from entering.
Did they have a women's, like a men's tournament and a women's tournament?
I don't
At
think
that
so.
time?
I think they have since added a separate women's category.
But then also let them play in the men's. So now they
I'm not
had.
sure if they can.
I think they did. I think they lifted the ban on the women,
Mm-hmm.
and then they also have a women's only tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So women can join the main one, which I'm calling the men's one the main one.
Oh,
The fun
sexist.
one. Yeah, it's screwy.
Yeah, I think this was just dumb of them in the first place. And
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. I'm curious
I
what
personally
people.
did not realize that they were barred at first. Like, looking at the international for Dota 2, was that men's only? I don't think it is.
Don't remember anything specifically saying. I
But
saw
it's
a
all
lot of
dudes.
men.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, that's the thing. Like, I never would have thought that. I would have just thought, hey, it's just a bunch of dudes, though.
Yeah.
But I don't see any reason the chicks can't play
Yeah.
or shouldn't be able to play. I'm pro chicks, and
Mhm.
chicks can play video games and video game tournaments.
Yeah.
I mean, I totally see the reason why, like, athletic sports has the kind of the segregation, between men and women. There's a men's league and a women's league because there are big physical differences,
Sure.
as far as football is concerned or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But video
We're
games,
built basically the same. Yeah.
video games, dumb. There's no
That
reason.
doesn't make any sense. Oh, and go ahead.
I'll tell you the one thing that would be the they want women to play, right?
Mhm.
I mean, they're trying to say that. The best thing that they can do to get more women to play is give them, like, a hero just needs to rise to the top. I mean, that's it. There needs to be a woman, say for Dota 2. If
Right.
there's a woman that joins a team and she starts kicking some butt, that is what is going to appeal to more women.
Right.
Not a women's only league.
Yeah.
So,
Which it's still segregated. They're not allowed to play with the men. The IESF, it has sorted by gender.
Oh,
So,
interesting.
which is still stupid.
Well, the whole thing started because there was a qualifier that said we're not going to have a women's tournament. And everybody was like, why?
Mm-hmm.
And it was because someone said something like, what would happen if a woman beat a man in this tournament? Well, everybody's like, how could you say that? It would be awesome if a woman beat a man. But the guy's point was that it was translated, it was all that kind of jazz, so things get lost in translation. But
Sure.
His point was women aren't allowed to play in the next level of the tournament, so it would be a waste if a
If she
chick
did
beat a
win.
dude, because
Yeah.
then that dude just she can't go on, she can't move on, so that's why.
Yeah.
So people got kind of upset with the wrong person, I think, in this case. I mean, they should have gotten upset with the IESF.
Right.
But they did, and they're kind of changing things, but it should just be integrated. It's dumb. There are just so many other ways that they can appeal to getting more people playing, and it'll just happen naturally.
Yeah. This is a case of where, exactly like you said, it's not a regular sport, which there's any advantage for one sex or the other. So
I'm sure, like, if you there are always little things like dexterity and stuff like that. Maybe
sure.
Women are generally more dexterous or
Mhm.
whatever, but uh, it's not enough that they'll push each other. Then I mean that's going to be it. It's not enough that you can say that someone's going to get hurt or something like that because of physical differences or something like that. It's dumb. And
Yeah.
Esports are trying to figure themselves out right now, and they're going to make some mistakes in doing that. They want to become more legitimate, and they're doing a good job. They're doing a better job than I ever would have guessed. Because you can get scholarships now.
Yeah. It's very much legitimizing. And quite a few places. It's not just like one or two schools.
Yeah. I last heard there's over 100 schools, legitimate real schools, that offer scholarships for playing League of Legends.
Mm-hmm. Not fraudulent online university.
No. Not the same thing.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to our next story. Age of Empires Online is now done.
Wah, wah. Sorry,
I wasn't really following this before. The only reason I thought about this, I love the Age of Empires series. People are still playing Age of Empires 2 HD. I mean, that's happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this was an unfortunate progression of that series. Because at one time, I think Age of Empires was comparable to Civ as far as popularity.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even more popular. At one point, Age of Empires 1 and Age of Empires 2 were both extremely popular games.
Yeah.
And I think, with them going this free-to-play route, and then with the cartoony graphics, they made a couple of missteps with that series. I hope there will now be an Age of Empires 4, like a real successor to, a real sequel to that series, because It's a good game.
I honestly don't remember playing this. I know it's been a huge name in the empire building genre of video games, but I don't know if I ever really played this at all.
I played the first one
back.
That was my first. Well, is SimCity a 4X game? It's not really. It's a simulator. It's not. I mean, it's just a straight up simulator, right? It's not 4X.
I'm not sure where the strict definition comes in for 4X strategy.
4X is like explore. I don't know what the other X's are. Explore.
Resource manage or.
It's got to be an X. Hold on. We're gonna search the internets. 4X.
What does this mean? 4X
means explore, expand, exploit, and exterminate.
Oh, nice.
Exterminate. And so that's not SimCity.
Yeah.
Might be The Sims, because when you put them in a pool and delete the ladder,
exterminate.
You have been exterminated. So, my first exposure was Age of Empires 1. I loved it. Played it on the CD-ROM.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually preferred that to Civ. I liked being down in the weeds and micromanaging the people more. Like, you just saw everything they were doing.
Yeah.
Whereas Civ is that broader picture.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed that. I liked the aspect too of just seeing them progress, seeing them evolve, and I missed that series. I need to replay.
Well, hopefully it's not just going away, and it's just the fact that the online one is shutting down.
This leads me to have you looked into modding?
I've never done it. I've used mods before.
Holy crap. There are so many awesome mods out there to take games, older games, and make them look better. I just started kind of looking into this. And there's tons of texture packs and things like that you can mod most games.
Yeah. Doom 3, when I was bitching about it a couple weeks ago, one of the mods that I got, it's called Sick Mod. and it's people who've uploaded like these massive textures to replace pretty much everything in the game,
Yeah.
as well as like bringing like light bloom effects. Like everything gets updated in the game.
And did you go through all of that?
It was still broken, like semi-broken in a lot of different ways. I don't know if it was like the original install that I had on there or how I added the mod to it. It does it in a way that's not super straightforward, so yeah.
Yeah, I was looking into mods for Dragon Age
Mhm.
and also Mass Effect, and just primarily the graphic stuff. Way cool, and I think I'm going to start tinkering with it.
Yeah.
I like it because one I was wondering about too is Baldur's Gate, because Baldur's Gate's graphics are kind of poopy,
Amazing.
kind of amazingly poopy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was just looking into that, and I wondered if you had any experience with it, because it's
I think you might have better luck with well, you could keep it straight 2D like with Baldur's Gate, but also I think Neverwinter Nights has quite a mod following.
Yeah.
So that one I'm sure has quite a few updates to it, which I did beat Neverwinter Nights. Anyway,
Okay. Guess what happened this week? The
What?
PS4 controller is now compatible with the PS3.
yay!
Yay! We have been very vocal about our hatred for the PS3 controller.
Mm-hmm.
Hate it a lot.
Not that bad.
Now, unfortunately, though, I mean, it's now compatible with it, but it's not going to come without some lacking some features.
Mm-hmm. And you have done this. You've tried it.
I have not.
You have
I
not.
started
no.
reading about it because I thought when I saw that this firmware came out, I thought it was going to be the same thing. Pop in the USB, plug it in, hit that PS button, and it's going to work. It's then synced with your system. Not so. Excuse me.
You're just gonna make that a
Your
weekly
favorite-
thing, aren't you?
It is. It's got to be a weekly thing. So you have to go into like the add Bluetooth, like it's a generic controller,
Mm-hmm.
and add it that way. You have to sync it that way, which
Like a Mad Catz Bluetooth controller.
which means it's not going to work with every game. The game has to have support for generic controllers. Also means it will not have Rumble support, or whatever they call their version of Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
Shock.
Vibroshock.
Vibroshock.
Mm-hmm.
And also means it will not have 6-axis controls, which that's the motion controls, right?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Which I don't care about that.
Yeah, that doesn't bother.
6-axis is dumb.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's a bummer though. I like the PS4 controller, so I wish it was fully supported, but it is not.
Yeah.
Maybe
I don't think, like, even though I would prefer the form factor and the controller itself of the PS4,
Mhm.
I'm not willing to deal with all the shortcomings that come with it. Like, I would, even though I don't like the PS3 controller, I would rather just continue using that than worry about if this is going to actually work. The Vibroshock doesn't work anymore. All that kind of stuff.
And the other thing then is it will unsync from your PS4 if you sync it with the PS3. Now,
Yeah.
that's okay. I have two controllers, so I'm not really worried about that.
Mhm.
But yeah, kind of stuff.
It's just one more thing that's annoying.
Yeah. I did, however, sync my PS4 controller with my computer.
Mm-hmm.
That works
How's
nice.
that?
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice. Yep. Not bad.
Would you say
it's not
as
native
like
yet, but
okay?
there's a couple little things you need to do. But it's not bad, but it would be nice if you could just plug and play. But you can't.
It's not the 360 experience.
No. Or the Xbox One experience, because the Xbox One is now fully supported by the PC.
Oh, nice.
And it does tempt me to get an Xbox One controller. I'm tempted.
Yeah.
If I saw a sale that was like $40, I might pull the trigger and get one.
What are those 70 now? Like same as PS4?
Is a PS4 controller $70?
Is it 60 or 70?
I thought it was 60, but man. That would be bogus. I'm looking it up right now. $60.
$60.
Yeah.
It's still not super great.
$60 isn't bad. It's the price of a game. It's been typical. Let's see what the Xbox One controller is. Xbox One controller. Welcome to watching two guys surf the internet. Oh, yeah, the Xbox One controller. Oh, the Xbox One right now, $60. Regular retail. Yep, $60. Not bad.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to our last story. We had followed this before. We talked about Dungeon Keeper, and a lot of people were really upset about what EA did with the Dungeon Keeper IP, and they made it free to play, and it was one of those timing things where you had the cooldown, or like you'd have to pay if you want this to be completed now.
Yeah.
Buy gems and buy stuff to do that with. And people were pissed. They were pissed off.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad.
And the game has suffered. People don't play it. They were upset. And well, since then, just recently, EA has come out. One of their CEOs, Andrew Wilson, quote unquote, owned up to Dungeon Keeper sucking.
Yeah.
And this week he has a quote. And as we look forward, the two lessons we got are one, where when you are dealing with an IP that has existed in the past, even though you're reinventing it for a new audience, you have to do your best to stay true to its essence. I have to whisper.
It was whispered
whenever
like
I
that,
say
yeah.
it. I have to whisper it like it's a perfume or something.
You don't need to explain yourself.
Squirt essence on yourself. And that's a challenge. The Star Trek J.J. Abrams, he references Star Trek, the reboot, was very different from the first season I watched, but I still felt good about it. You never watched it. You don't watch movies. CEOs don't watch movies.
What an ass.
The second point he makes is, when you're thinking about any business model, premium, subscription, free-to-play value has to exist. Whether it's $1, $10, $100, or $1,000, you have to deliver value and always err on the side of delivering more value, not less. I don't think his second point is very valid, because basically they just stole the Clash of Clans model.
Yeah.
And people are still paying and playing Clash of Clans.
Yeah. I think Clash of Clans struck a much better balance of like not making you wait a ridiculous amount of time, like really soon in the game. Because I mean, how much did you play the game? Like how long
Dungeon
did you
Keeper?
have into it? Yeah.
Maybe an hour.
Okay. But it seems like people were very quickly having to like wait 10 hours or like really long periods of time.
Yeah.
In Clash of Clans, it was like after you played it for a while, you got more advanced structures that like you had to wait quite a while, but it didn't feel like the balance was right. The balance didn't seem bad.
Yeah, but I don't think I think that is way secondary. It was mostly what they did to the IP. I think they probably could have come out with this game, slapped a different theme or slapped a different name on it, and people would not have been upset.
Mm-hmm.
They might have
didn't feel like it was super greedy, like the way it was structured. I mean, I never played it.
Oh, I think Clash of Clans is super greedy.
Sure.
I felt like there was a minor difference between Clash of Clans setup versus this. I guess it's been so long since I started Clash of Clans that I'm not sure that, at what point Clash of Clans was like, hey, you have to spend money now versus Dungeon Keeper. But I don't think that was my I did feel like it made you spend money a little earlier. Yes. Mm-hmm. but I didn't feel like it was so, repulsive and just like, man, this is so different. I think they just kind of like tried to nudge it a little more. They're like, let's just see if we can get a little bit more money out of people.
Yeah.
Well, I think if it was a different IP, if it was labeled something else, people wouldn't have been upset.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there's a big enough difference in the, how much money you had to spend to play the game. Or not spend, how much time you had to wait for your stupid little dungeon to be done. Stupid.
Man, the more we talk about it, like, the more disappointed I am that things have gone. I know why they have, but like everything has gone freemium, and like I'm in the same trap now. Like all the games that come out that get popular now are free to play.
Yeah.
And I'm so sick of games being like flooded with ads and having to buy things. And like I talked about Robot Unicorn Attack 2 last week, and now like their most recent update, the previous ads weren't too intrusive, but now like Dunkin' Donuts is sponsoring it. So now instead of collecting like these magical fairies as you're running through, you're collecting cups of coffee. And I was just like, all right, like,
thanks for breaking the experience.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it all depends, because like so far the way Marvel is going, I think that's a value. I mean, that's cool. And or Hearthstone, perfect example of the perfect balance. I've spent money on Hearthstone. I'm happy to spend money on Hearthstone.
Yeah.
It's that when they reel you in the right way, when they give you this perception of a great value, and then make you addicted to the game, then it works.
Like Blizzard is in a great position to do that, though. Like they don't need external ads in their game. Like they're perfectly fine with selling. Like everything is self-contained in Hearthstone. Yeah, you can spend money to buy stuff, but you're not seeing floating pop-up ads for everything. It feels like a very legitimate game. And then
I think pop-up ads in games give it an illegitimate feel. I mean, it doesn't feel like a real game.
Yeah.
It feels like just some piece of crap advertisement game.
Yeah. I mean, back when like when the iPhone was getting really popular and the App Store was huge with them, like you had to spend, 99 cents to like a little over $1. And I sort of miss those days of like not being flooded with ads but having to spend a little bit of money.
Yeah.
But now people are like unwilling to spend 99 cents for an app.
Agreed. Are you ready to talk about the board game of the week?
Yep.
All right, everybody, it is time for the board game of the week, or the tabletop game of the week, whatever we're going to call it. We're a show about a lot of fun stuff. I mean, we probably focus on video games, but we love tabletop games. We love television. We love steak.
We love to be entertained.
We also love Zevia Zero Calorie Cola.
I can't attest to that.
I started drinking this. It is a 0 calorie cola with no sugar, no artificial sweeteners, and
brown water.
it is brown water. No, actually, it is sweetened with the stevia plant.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's good. I like it. Yep. So I'm trying to cut out all poisons.
What's your biggest vice now?
Ice cream.
Aside from stevia.
It's always ice cream.
Ice cream is magic.
Slow churned, though. Doing the slow churn.
Yeah.
Gotta have that. Yeah. So this week's board game of the week is Last Will. Have you heard of this game, Aaron?
You talked about it. I looked it up, and I remember you telling me about it before. It sounds cool.
I really enjoy Last Will. Last Will is different than a lot of games. A lot of games, what you're trying to do is build up the most wealth.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's buying up properties or distributing your resources the right way so you can build up enough wealth. You're trying to build all that up. And in Last Will, you're trying to get rid of it. You're trying to spend money because it's a lot like the movie Brewster's Millions, where I think what happens is your uncle wants to give his fortune to the person, to the nephew or niece, that can spend their money the fastest. They want to know that this money is going to be enjoyed, and so that's what their target is. And I've played this game once, and I loved it. I loved it because it was different. I loved it because I won.
Mostly that.
I found it really enjoyable. There's a lot of different things you can do to spend money. Some of them is buying property and basically paying on that property turn after turn. Also, then there are a lot of helpers and just kind of like events that you can, like dinners or anything like that, you can buy. There's cards laid out in front, and in a certain turn order, you can buy those things and start playing them so that you're trying to spend more money. The other thing that's just a cool aspect of the game is that you can influence how the realty market is going as far as the value of properties. Each home, a bunch of different cards. I don't know how many colors there are, but each property has like a certain color on it. And you can influence by paying or by doing whatever, I can't really remember, influence which homes are worth the least amount, because you want to lose money on your home because you want to spend more money.
Right.
And so you can influence this track that shows what the values are. Really dig this game. It looks like it's about $50. A lot of these tabletop games are expensive.
Yeah.
You know, relatively speaking, like you can pick up Monopoly for $13. But
I think that's why it's so shocking for most people when they start playing like the Euro games. It is not cheap to get that. I mean, comparatively, when you look at like Milton Bradley, Sorry, and all those types.
But you know, when you look at it from the cost of a video game, it isn't bad. You know, people will drop $60 on a video game.
Yeah.
And I think these tabletop games are great. I have a lot of fun with them. Brittany and I have, board game night. We try to do that once a week where we play some board games.
Yeah.
But this is a good one. I think it's a lot different than a lot of the games out there. It's very unique, and so it's a recommended play. A lot of board game shops, if you have one in the area, they'll let you try out games. They have a library of used games, so visit those and see if you can pick up a copy of Last Will to play.
Awesome.
So that brings us to the end of yet another episode, the end of episode 26, and it's time for closers and plugs.
Yeah, email us, please. We're at podcast@uphshow.com.
On Twitter, we are at UPHshow.
And on Facebook, we are facebook.com/UPHshow.
Hey, listeners, subscribe to us on iTunes and Stitcher. Rate, review. Thank you.
Check out our group on Steam. We are Unbelievable Power Hour.
I'm Dan DeHaan, and I can be found at dandehaan.com. My Twitter handle is at dandehaan78.
My name's Aaron Wiesinger. I have aaronwiesinger.com, and I am at a Wiesinger on Twitter.
And we are also on YouTube. You can watch our vidcast of this show. There's also some other video game stuff out there, videos.
Malarkey, yeah.
Malarkey. And I got to get another Walking Dead game out there, too, part of that Walking Dead series, because I've been feeling that. I'm like, I got to do this. I'm going to do that this weekend. That is a promise. There will be another episode out this weekend.
Awesome.
And I'm off to Denny's to have some 4th of July breakfast.
Nice. Celebrate right.
I'm going to get a grand slam, I think. Everybody have a good 4th of July. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you next week. Bye now.
Bye. See ya.